A somewhat unexpected severe weather event is going to be sweeping across portions of the northern plains tomorrow, and in this video we're going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about these threats. Starting off with the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today, where we have a dual slight risk of severe weather, with one of our slight risks being in place across portions of the upper western Midwest, and the other one going across sections of southeast Texas. Now, we do have a 2% tornado probability today. This is going to be going out from portions of the Texas-Louisiana state line all the way back down to the San Antonio metro area. So if you're in this area, make sure that you do have a tornado action plan in place, although I think it's generally a pretty localized threat, and it would mainly be over the southeast Texas corridor, and I really don't think that the threat's too significant even there. Now, as we take a look at our damaging wind probabilities, that's what's driving both of our slight risks. We have a 15% chance of damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour or higher within 25 miles of any given point, going from portions of southwest Wisconsin back through northern Iowa, and another 15% probability going across southeast Texas once again. Our hail probability for today does exist across portions of northern Iowa, with a 15% risk also in play for large hail going all the way from Mason City, Iowa, back towards Platteville, Wisconsin. So if you're in this area, make sure that you are bring your cars inside the garage whenever severe thunderstorms are on the way. We do have relatively high lapse rates out here today, so that's partially what's driving our large hail threat in portions of northern Iowa and far southern Wisconsin. Now, as we go into tomorrow, I said that we'd be looking at a big severe weather event in the northern plains, and I truly do believe that. However, as of right now, the Storm Prediction Center only has a marginal risk of severe weather in play, going from portions of eastern Colorado back through west central Wisconsin. Now, I would not be shocked to see a small, slight risk of severe weather get issued here for portions of southeastern South Dakota, and we're going to talk about why later in this video. But it's also important to mention that due to our extremely high instability values out in portions of the Gulf Coast, we do have another marginal risk of severe weather that goes all the way from the Boot Heel of Missouri back over to the Texas-Mexico border. Now, our tornado probabilities for tomorrow, again, one of those 2% risks going across portions of southeast Texas back through parts of southwest Tennessee near Memphis, but our more significant threat for a couple of tornadoes is going to remain in play across parts of southeast South Dakota, southwest Minnesota, and northwest Iowa. Our damaging wind probability exists at both of these risk areas, a 5% probability for both, and the hail outlook is relatively similar. Now, as we go into Friday, we are actually looking at a decently significant threat for damaging winds and maybe a couple of brief tornadoes across portions of the central plains, back through the high plains, all the way back through portions of Montana. So if you are out here in this area, make sure you do have a tornado action plan in place. Now, taking a look at the environment out here for portions of the northern plains, we're going to start off by taking a look at the reflectivity on the newest run of the HRRR at the time of recording. Now, you'll notice that this setup is looking like it's going to be a semi-discrete mode. We're taking a look at hour 35 here on the 12Z HRRR. I suppose this isn't the most recent one. Let's switch to the 18Z. You'll notice that this is going to be a semi-discrete mode here across portions of southeastern South Dakota, but the big concern will be, will thunderstorms even pop up? Now, if thunderstorms do pop up, we could be talking about the threat for a couple of tornadoes, significant damaging winds, and large hail, but if thunderstorms don't develop, that may not be an issue whatsoever, and we're going to talk about what may be the limiting factors on those storms developing later in this video. But again, those thunderstorms look to be at their peak intensity at around the 8 p.m. through 11 p.m. hours. So this is going to be a somewhat overnight threat for portions of southeastern South Dakota, and again, even back through portions of the upper western Midwest. We can't rule out some isolated large hailstones or downburst damaging wind gusts. Now, taking a look at the sounding here for this area, this is a sounding taken on hour 28 on the 18Z run of the HRRR. This is from portions of southeastern South Dakota, right around Mound City. Now, you guys may actually recognize that name, and we're going to talk about why later in this video. Taking a look at this sounding, you'll notice that it is actually very impressive here. If we take a look at our 3 Cape values, you'll notice they're at 73 there. Our instability is over 3,000, so we're going to have no struggles in the Cape department. Our SRH values are actually pretty decent, ranging anywhere from 140 back up to 400, depending on what layer of the atmosphere you look at, with our wind shear being relatively impressive as well, ranging anywhere from 45 to 50 knots. Our storm slinky looking pretty nice. They're very curved at 74 degrees. Our hodograph there shows a decent wind profile, but overall it could be a bit more elongated. Not the most impressive photograph I've ever seen, obviously. Taking a look at our lapse rates, you'll notice that they're ranging anywhere from 6.7 all the way up to 7.7 Celsius per kilometer, depending on what layer of the atmosphere you look at. Our SARS analogs here do mention that this this setup rather, has been supportive for a threat of very large hail and significant supercells in the past. Our effective layer STP ranging anywhere from 2 to 3, right in that vicinity. Now, again, this is a pretty impressive sounding overall in the HRRR, but the NAM model here is actually even a little bit more impressive, mainly due to the fact that it's showing quite a bit more instability, actually, over 4,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE. And again, this is taken from virtually the same area, a little bit further off to the north, but overall, pretty similar region. Our storm slinky turned at 77 degrees. Our large hail analog certainly in play. Taking a look at our SRH, ranging anywhere from 170 all the way up to 400. Our wind shear values are just about the same, maybe even a little bit lower than what they were showing on the HRRR model, ranging anywhere from 35 to 45 knots. Our photograph, not very impressive whatsoever, I'll be totally honest with you guys, but again, it kind of has that same decent kind of signal for maybe a brief tornado or two out here in this environment. Our wind profile certainly could be quite a bit more impressive, and it's not very elongated whatsoever. Our effective layer SCP ranging anywhere from 3 to 4, so a little bit higher. Again, our 3 CAPE values sitting close to 100, and our lapse rates ranging anywhere from 6.4 to 7.3 Celsius per kilometer, depending on what layer of the atmosphere you look at. Now, this setup is something that's happened in the past many a times, the most recent example being last year. Now, if you don't know, the northern plains typically bring very, very photogenic supercells and tornadoes over the summer every year, and this was on August 28th of 2024. This is a sounding that was taken from Mound City, South Dakota. Now, this is very, very similar to what we're looking at for this event. First of all, our instability values, 4,000 at the surface level for this event, 4,000 at the surface level. Taking a look at our wind shear values, in the first kilometer of the atmosphere, they were 18 knots, first 3, they were 35. For this event, our first kilometer, our wind shear there is at 26 knots, the first 3 kilometers are 40. Very similar. Taking a look at our photograph, you'll notice it was a bit more elongated, but, you know, pretty similar in general. Our SRH values were somewhat impressive, very similar to today's, where the SRH definitely could have been a bit higher, but it would still be enough to support a brief tornado or two. Our lapse rates ranging anywhere from 6.9 to 7.2 Celsius per kilometer. Overall, a pretty impressive sounding here, to say the least. And this sounding in this environment brought actually a localized, pretty significant tornado event to the South Dakota-North Dakota state line. Again, the Mound City, South Dakota EF2 tornado was by far the most photogenic tornado of the event and the most destructive. This was actually arguably the tornado of the year for 2024. If you'd like to do more research on it, I highly recommend checking out some videos out there. But just taking a look at this, I mean, this is from Spencer Dant. Again, look at that beautiful, beautiful storm structure with the little baby cone tornado there at the surface. So pretty impressive environment. And again, definitely brought us some pretty photogenic tornadoes. Now, does that mean it's absolutely going to play out that way again? No, not necessarily, but just for reference, whenever setups like this happen, that's typically how things go down. Now, taking a look finally at the watches, warnings, and advisories we currently have in effect, we currently have a flood watch in play for sections of East Texas, Northwest Louisiana, pretty much all of the Arklatex area there, and this is because we're going to be seeing multiple days in a row of constant heavy rainfall, so make sure that you do have a flood action plan in place. Excessive heat watches in play for sections of far Southern California and Southern Arizona. We're starting to get to the time of year where you got to make sure that you're wearing sunscreen. If you go outside, make sure that you've got, liquids with you, and make sure that you are limiting your outdoor activities if at all possible. I understand some people work out there in the sun and there's not a lot you can do, but if you do have to do that, make sure that you're wearing light colored clothing, very lightweight in general, and make sure that you're drinking plenty of fluid. Stay safe out there, guys. I know you may have lived in Southern Arizona or Southern California your whole life, but there's no point in risking heat stroke. I mean, it can be fatal very quickly. We do still have some air quality alerts and some dense fog advisories in effect for parts of the Ohio Valley and the Northeast, and that is mainly due to that Canadian wildfire smoke, although at this point it's mainly dissipating. For a while there, I mean, it was just incredible. Again, I got some crazy looking photos of the sun. That's how thick that smoke was and that fog was out there in portions of the Midwest. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for a little train of supercells actually that are traveling along the Iowa-Minnesota state line right now, and again, later this evening that could turn into a big-time downburst damaging wind threat for the Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois quad state region. But that's about it. So before we end off this video, I want to quickly thank all of our channel members. As always, you guys are what keeps this channel going. God bless you guys. Again, thank you all for becoming members. If you want to do so, make sure to do so by clicking the link down in the description. You get access to exclusive videos, early access to certain forecasts, custom stickers to use in chat, and shoutouts at the end of every video, and more. So make sure to do that. And that's about all I got for you guys today. So thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.